Again, this is Sid, and as you might have already read in the title of this video, it is going to be the full review of the Moto G4 Play. Moto to me seems to have adopted Samsung style this year of ousting phones with same names, same looks at different price points. So while the Moto G4 Plus battles in the 10 to 15k segment, this one has been specifically designed for the sub 10,000 category. But the question is this phone worth its price? What are some compromises that you get at this discount? How does it fare against its competition, and most importantly, should you be buying this one? Well, I'll answer all that and more in this video, so stay tuned. So let's start with the designing of this phone, and there's not much to be excited about here because it is the similar design that you would find on a Moto G4 Plus or even a Moto E3 Power this year. It looks all the same. However, there is not much to complain about too. The phone is made up of plastic from everywhere, and the side rim in fact gives you an illusion of metal even though it is plastic. But the back is very special because it's both removable and hence replaceable too. Also, one more thing that I'd like to point out is that since the back is not metal or glass, it is very grippy, and the overall feel and look of the device is quite comfortable, and the screen size has to be thanked for it. It's a 5-inch IPS LCD display which, though only HD in resolution, is rather decent. The colors appear natural and the contrast is fine too. However, the screen could have been a bit more brighter is what I feel. Plus, the screens of Moto have Moto Display which give you a glimpse of time and notification without turning it on. Now let's talk about performance. The phone packs in 2 GB of RAM and the multitasking was rather decent. However, the processor used a Snapdragon 410 and it is now rather old. It has powered devices like Redmi 2 in the past, and while daily performance like emailing or web surfing would not be a hiccup, I knew that, I was worried about the gaming on this thing. However, I'm happy to report that you don't have to worry about it because the gaming performance was rather acceptable. Here's a sample clip of me playing Modern Combat on this thing, and you can see that the performance is not that bad. And here is Asphalt 8 at its highest graphics setting. While there are some frame drops here and there, the phone in my opinion is passable for an average gamer. To a hardcore gamer, I would as it is recommend Redmi Note 3 for under 10,000 bucks, nothing else. But what you would get on a Moto, you would never get on a Xiaomi. Like all other Motos, Moto G4 Play comes with Android Marshmallow in its stock form, meaning there is not much bloat, the overall experience is quite fluid, and you get a near Nexus-like experience for much less price. However, stock is not always good. I'm a big admirer of Moto features that come embedded in Moto devices. This one has none of them. There is no Moto voice, there is no chop flash, there is no twist camera. So the overall experience is rather compromised. And talking about the compromises, now let's talk about the cameras. The cameras compared to the Moto G4 Plus are obviously mediocre. However, they are not that bad for the price tag they come at. The camera is quick to open by double pressing the power key, and the viewfinder is pretty basic with not many cool filters or even features, barring this exposure control ring. And the shots are fine in the day, but that's the only time that they are fine. Night shots are dull, indoors are mostly grainy, but the HDR mode is quite noticeable. However, selfies are decent with both beauty mode and the screen flash. Between this and the Redmi 3S, I'd call the cameras a draw, with Redmi 3S slightly performing better in the low light scenarios. However, selfies go to the Moto G4 Play. Now let's talk about the miscellaneous stuff. The phone comes with 4G and dual SIM slots. However, VoLTE is only functional in SIM slot 1. And the phone does not have any extra features, say an IR blaster or gyroscope for the VR fanatics, both of which are present on Xiaomi Redmi 3S and 3S Prime. But the phone has an additional micro SD card slot apart from the 2 SIM slots, which is a good feature to have for any phone, I'll say. And it also has one of the best in class speaker performance for this price bracket. Now let's talk about the battery. The phone in my opinion has excellent battery. By excellent I mean more than a day of use with 4G mobile data and location always on. Also, the screen on time is somewhere between 4 to 4.5 hours on average. However, the drain on idle time is quite low, which in my opinion gives it a better battery life. Also, you have the option to swap in a new battery whenever this one dies, and the charging is fast too. So now that I've given you every information about this device, it is now time for me to give you my verdict on the Moto G4 Play. So, how's the phone? Well, at Rs 9,000, Moto G4 Play brings on table some features that not many phones in the market offer. It's about small conveniences literally. Things like a removable battery, things like an additional micro SD card slot, and most importantly, a Nexus-like stock Android experience at this budget. But the question is, should you be buying this over the Redmi 3S Prime? Well, if you want a fingerprint scanner, if you want a metal body, if you want gyroscope, go ahead and buy the Redmi 3S Prime. However, if you can trade those things off, Moto G4 Play is actually a very good compact phone. Now that's what I think of the Moto G4 Play. What you think or what you need to know, you can post in the comment box below. Meanwhile, do not forget to give this video a thumbs up and sharing it with your friends who need it. And if you haven't already, do subscribe to our channel. My name is Sid. Ciao.